Testing 1, 2. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So when we go through a form, the important part is your setup for the position and setup for what the technique is. So that way, your body actually starts to recognize what it's trying to do. So the setup really falls into, sort of these common categories. Those are our fundamental movements, but along with the fundamental movements, that setup is really important in direction. So, just a simple uppercut and you're in a position, you have to define the direction of your movement and how it kind of happens. So uppercut is just swinging your arms like this. That's all it is. But when you put your body into the movement, if you don't come up in the direction and then find your center line and alignment of that movement, then it looks kind of uncontrolled. And then the direction of the force has to be focused to a certain point. Now when we go like this and we take a look at the side view, when you go like this, there's your triangle. It's the same position that you use when you do your center line position. So you don't need to exceed this position, because you think of going beyond this point. What happens? It starts to go up and up and up and up, and what happens? It gets shorter and shorter distance-wise, because there's a sort of a law of diminishing returns. Kind of as you go up, it changes. So you're not hitting anything up there, so why put the effort up there? And then between here and here really depends on how close you are to your opponent. So that's something that you have to measure and regulate. So that's really understanding. There's logic to everything that we do. So that's something that once you put your mind in it in that way, then when you do it the consciousness and the intent of the motion changes. Then the water punch that we talk about, that we have to set up the elbow. So the water punch is just doing this too. That's our vertical elbow, our parallel arm position, and that's all we have to do is define the direction. So the geometry position kind of determines where it's going, what shape it's going to be in, and the type of movement it's going to be. So it just falls into triangles, circles, and squares. So this is actually just coming up and down, right? So if I'm here, I'm like that. If I'm here, I'm like that. So what do we have to set up? What do we have to set up? Elbow over the knee.
And then this is where I get off a little bit. This arm should be straight, right?
Yeah.
Back arm. And if I bend it, I mess it all up and I throw it up like this.
Yeah.
That's all messed up.
Okay.
So,
And it
I
comes.
have to lock my elbow.
Okay. And
That's my mistake usually. Not locking this. And then it comes up like this.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and then you have to. So, what's that? And you turn your shoulder, right? So,
This should be straight, right? So it comes up.
yeah. So it should be straight, but the important thing here is setting up your torso, right? No, yeah. So elbow over your knee is one part of the movement, right? And then, yeah. So when you start to turn your shoulders, the time that you release your hand is when you're in line with your direction. So if I'm pointing my elbow here, and I have a torso position sideways, and then so between here and here is a 45 oblique to the square. So if I'm going to turn my shoulders, I begin to drop my elbow here, and then when I'm here, when the body's square is the best time to release and execute. So you have to really know where your body is. So we talk about transition and muscle memory. What has to be memorized is the direction of your movement. So it's always 0, 45, 45, right? To follow that common strategy of 0, 45, 45. It's 90 degrees to your center, but actually the point is actually a little bit behind you because your arms actually project behind you a bit. So when you're here, that's your direction. Here's your 45 degrees. Strum the looters like that. That's your direction. If I turn my hands like this, there's my direction. If I turn my hands like this, that's just turning up. So between this and this is actually all we're doing. But we can't create enough power direction that way. So the way to supplement that is to fold. And then drop the elbow, and then turn the body. So when we fold, turn the body, drop the elbow, and then release. Fold, turn the body, drop the hand, and lift. Fold, turn the body, drop, and release. That's how the body should turn into the water. So the water punch, that's a sui long pao chui. Right? So that's essentially what we're doing. But there's nothing in that your body doesn't know. It's already knows all those little incremental positions, but when you put it together, it doesn't know it. It doesn't know because so many things are happening. And while you think you may know it, when you go to execute it, it doesn't happen, right? So what do you have to do? You have to train and condition your body to learn it, right? So let's just try the water punches a few times. Maybe step back a little, and then do the water punch to each corner. So first thing you do, let's just do it without the legs, right? Turn, right? Okay, so that's essentially what we do. Now, everybody feels pretty comfortable doing like that. It seems pretty easy, right? if we're in a horse stance and we turn, that's going to leaning stance. We go to horse stance and we lean. If we just did the one arm, we just go like that. So that seems pretty easy. Go through center, go through center, go through center, go through center, go through center. Okay, so that's pretty easy. You're using the strike, the back of the hand, right? Back of the hand. Back of the hand. So that's form the fist, and it's the same movement. Now we go deeper in the stance. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Yeah, so much better, right? Much more relaxed. Paul's much more relaxed. So once you get your arms working correctly, the next factor that's critical is your footwork in direction. So if you're doing Sui Long Pao Chui in this format, it always is in the 45 degrees. So if you can't find your 45 degrees, and you can't find it whether you're doing this or this, then you're not going to find it there. So if you have it, that 45 degrees is the same footwork in all of them. Okay? So when you get to the point where you're doing that footwork, you should just step through your center and just create that elbow. And that elbow movement is really a back fist, right? So you open up with a back fist and you follow up with the upward movement. Now because this is a back fist, this is the backhand. This is a backhand. Now that's the same backhand that you have when you do this. Right? That's the same movement going backwards. That's your equal opposite, but it's your natural direction movement based on your arm swing, right? We do this exercise, right? Let's call Latsu Winghung, right? That's your exercise. That's the most natural stroke in the body. It's the same stroke we use when we walk, and it's the same stroke that we use to lift the elbow. So this movement is the same stroke that we do this. Okay. It's the same stroke as when we do this. It's the same stroke as when we chop. So you see where that falls into that common category of movement. You have it in the butterfly swords, you have it in double swords, you have it in your warm-up exercises. These are all part of our phenomena. But until our body actually recognizes that's what's happening, then you're learning like 20 different things and none of it makes sense because they're all different. It seems to be different, but it ends up looking different. So we have a basic horse stance or leading stance movement like in drunken fists, right? So let's do the drunken fist from the first form. All right, first form drunken fist. You know where that is? No. So you do know it. Okay, so what's the difference between that drunken fist and the one in the fuhak? Okay, everybody do drunken fist from the second form, right? So here, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 2, 3, and 4. Let's do it again. Ready? Let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, right? Okay, again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. Now let's do drunken fist and fuhak after this punch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's try that again. Let's just do the same side. Ready? Again? Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so what I was looking for mainly is that your stance, your leaning stance. So you're in a suspended stance, you're in a cross hand position, you're in a leaning stance. This hand should be 90 degrees, like this. So this elbow should be out. Stephen, this elbow should be from here to here. And then when we shift back, this extends like this, right? So why I use that as a reference point is because when we're here and we cross and we step here, this movement is not complete a lot of times when we're running through it. So we're going like this, right? Right. So we're missing the back side of that. So when we're here, as you stomp, right, you still have to cross. You preset it to here, and then you strike to here. So that half is missing. Yeah. Otherwise, that's complete the movement. So that means the leg didn't do this. It didn't do this. It kind of went to here and then went like that. Incomplete movement. And it happens on both sides. But we learned the drunken fist position in the first form, but we didn't pay attention to it at that point because, except for the people that it was pointed out to a long time ago, that they didn't pay attention. So as you evolve past the first form, a lot of times people didn't revisit it unless you were teaching it or so forth. Right? So a lot of new people move on to second form, third form, fourth form, and then the first form is kind of pushed aside, but it's all kind of there. And then you go to the fourth form and you learn this and you do this. Then you get the fourth form, you have to relearn that same posture. So that's why, a lot of the forms that we learn even from the beginning has a lot of these fundamentals in it that we didn't pay attention to then, and now when we go back to do it, it's kind of being supported by more advanced form techniques, but then when you get the advanced form techniques, it's not supported by the earlier movements that we should have kind of, sort of captured. So when you're here, and you're here, and you're here, that position's important. And which hand is on top is important, right? So we know from here that the upper hand goes to the top, it goes like this, and we strike like this. And we know that from here, and we stomp, and we cross, it's on top. And you step, turn to here, and it comes out. So the format of the arms and the legs is consistently the same. It's not learning a new drunken fist. It's the same drunken. No, because the first in Fuhak you're here, the first movement is the drop. Then you're turning, so you sustain this arm position throughout. So is that what you meant? Yeah, because you're here. The first thing is this falling. Then when you turn. So the idea of the drunken fist is a feint. You're here, and then when you stop, it's a avoiding. So you're falling, then you're striking like that. So you're faking. That's a fake. Yeah. Yeah, it's called a tuipatlen. So when you're here, the first thing is but this actually is a move. Then you go the other way. Then you. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, the idea is the same. When you go like this, 1, 2, 3, cross step. Step here, adjust this foot, turn to here, and strike. That's the same footwork.
That was more of a pronounced, leaning step as opposed to stepping quickly.
Well, you're here, 1, 2. This is a scissor step. This is stepping up to here. This is to here. This is to here. And this here. So those are all the different breakdown. Just like when you're like here, right? When you're here, here, fourth form, right? Your breakdown really is when you're here, you're 1, 2, 3, 4. So if it's kungfu and we turn, right, when we're here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the tendency for a lot of times when people learn these forms, they learn the jumps. Like when we're here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The tendency is to learn this. Then you miss where the horse stance strategy is. So everything comes from the breakdown. So when you know the breakdown, then how you do the movement becomes a variant. But if you're teaching traditional form, you have to go to the fundamental. Otherwise, by the time 5 years pass, everybody's doing it different. So this is the way the Seabach broke it down in 2002, and this is the way we learned it from. I learned it from sifu. So a lot of times people added all this crazy stuff from the movies, but the breakdown for this should be 1, 2, and you're here, and it's measured to here, to here, to here. Then it goes on this side, to here, to here, to here, to here, right? To here, and then we're here. So for fundamental. So you are teaching the form should break it down to those simple steps. Yeah. And if your footwork is good, and with the shifting of weight, then that comes from a relationship in the two legs when you're moving, and that comes more from Tai Chi. Because a lot of times, a lot of people, if you watch Alex do his drunken fist in his competition, he's just doing, they're just going like this because that's what looks good and they see that. So they're mimicking a drunk. Yeah, so it's called kuen. Yeah. So this movement, because this is actually a strike or a movement, you have strength, and this is strength. From here, you have strength, but that's also a position. Why do they have that? But it's sometimes overlooked, right? So they just pass through. So in trying to preserve these forms, this is the information that we need to house. However you do it during a performance, or is really part of your, sort of, what do you call the embellishment of the movement. Yeah. So it makes it much more distinct, right? Much clearer. Yeah, no, but not so wild. Just from here, just turn. See, Peggy, when you're here, it's not this. It's just turn. Yeah. Watch the pole though. Yeah. We don't want to break it. We don't want you to break the pole. When you go. See, actually, when your movements become softer, and your body yields to the position, then when you're here, right, and I drop, I can extend it and then fold. Now the position becomes an integration of your movement. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now not only if I'm here, it can go like this, because it's not really the arm, it's the transition. So the folding of the arm becomes a yielding to the movement. See? So that's how you soften the movement. Fu Hok Song Yin Kun, the tiger crane represents yin and yang. The tiger and the crane is the hard and the soft. So the idea inside the form, even though it's element or the images of the tiger crane, it's really the images that are related to the soft and hard. So when you're here, it's firm is here, soft is here. Right? Soft is here. So your elbows have to be soft. That's how you control the hard by the soft. They use, that's the term they use. So the soft overcomes the rigidity and is much more effective. So the folding is what we talk about all the time, right? Fold, right? So if you press on my hand, it folds and it turns. You see, it doesn't pull, it folds, then it turns. 1, 2. So when you're here, so 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So the drunken fist, you strike this way and you strike this way. That's the reversal of the drunken fist. So if I go here, I strike. He comes up, I strike. Then I strike here. You see that goes. It goes to the yeah. So the up and down. So you know, all postures are techniques that are reversible. When you reverse the movement, it becomes, you know, just changing the direction and also alternating the move. Like Song Gong Su, double block here, the diagonal strike, the double block. They're reversible as a technique, and they go hand in hand. So those are, you know, the things that, you know, when I watch people do form, they're things that I try to point out. And if you're not doing it, or you are already doing it, then it's just reinforcing. If you're not doing it, you learn something. If you're already doing it, it just reinforces, you know, the accuracy of what you're doing. So there's, you know, it's not a, you know, it's not a negative thing. It's actually part of the learning curve. All right, let's go. You want to try the second half again? Second half. Remember the footwork we talked about. You know, for the when you cross after you stomp here, and you push. That you want to shift here and then take your step, and make sure if there's a square here, you got to go to your two corners. Otherwise, the footwork isn't balanced. It's sort of like an asterisk, you know, as the pattern. They call it the Maidu Ying. The Chinese character for rice is like that asterisk with the, you know, it's like a cross with dots on the corners. So that's the symbol for rice, and that's the pattern. So they use Chinese characters to describe your pattern. Yeah, the unicorn step. Yeah, the Kilin Bu. It's called the woman's stance, the Nui Duma. This is called Nui Duma. So this character looks like the character for women. So they call it a Nui Duma. But they also, so it's actually this and a cross here. Is that right? Yeah. So it looks like, so it's called a Nui Duma. It's called a cross stance. And then when you combine them, it becomes the Kilin Bu, the unicorn step. Okay, let's try that second half. Ready? Remember how we started off second half? Do the salute. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1. Okay, deep breathing. Okay, good. So those are, a few things that we. Yeah. So let's go through the stick form without the stick. Okay. Yep. Virtual stick. So this is so you can see if your alignment of your hands are working together or not, right? See if your legs are working. So that's a good sort of test for your own physical alignment of the appendages. Okay, ready? Go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2. Pause. You're getting a good stance. Align your hands more little level, yeah. 1. Suspended horse. Yeah, and your hand. Wait. Yeah, your hand, back elbow should be straight, like that. Because your arm should be both long, not like this, like this. 2. Both back hand, back elbow, so your elbow's back is still straighter. Yeah. See, right now you have one stick going there and you have the other stick going over there. So this should be here. Right? And your knee should be here. No, you're in this is the stance, right? So then it hits both knees or both thighs. Right, so that's your alignment. Right, okay, then poke. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. How about the other hand? We had it at the hip, but then it became that. Right, you're here. 1, 2, 3. Then you can't do that. No, I'm talking about this hand. This hand has to work too, right? So it has to go 1, 2. Because the other hand is connected to the other hand is sticky. You just can't move the front. So that's what we're looking for. 2, 3. Okay, poke. Now turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Poke, and then pull up, single-legged stance. Oh, 1. Turn. Thrust up to the throat. So this is a throat thrust, and your hand is facing down. Yeah. Okay. It's actually like this. Palm down. Palm down on this one. Yeah. It's not thrusting up like this. It's yeah. You chop like this. Yeah. Okay. 1. High. 2. 1. Oh, poke first. Poke first. Did you poke already, Rob? Okay, step up. 1, 2. Now this is 90 degrees to your body. 3. Pull. 1. Sit back. Pull the knee. Sink. Twist your body slightly. Look up toward point your index finger and follow your index finger. Even though in the stick we don't want you to actually do that, but you can use that as your guideline. All right, ready? Go. 1. Okay, hold. Let's go there again. Let's go back in. We're here. 1, 2. Okay, so you're here. Right. There's over here. 3, 4. Okay, we're here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. Other side, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now here, cross step. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1. Then we repeat. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Find your hand positions. See. Yeah, like that. Right on top. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So without the stick, you go through those movements. What you worked on is your framework. Your framework is your skeleton. When we go like this, it's just like cloud hands, right? My hand is moving. So the movement is a maneuver. The stick is something that actually trains your two sides to work together because they're inseparable. You're attached to the staff, your hands have to work. So it's a good way to develop your relationships in the body, right? So this is really what? He throws a punch. This is my this, you see. If I push back like this, it's just like this. It's just striking like that. So it teaches you how to use your strength so that they go give and take. So this is very important to understand. So when you pull like this and you're doing an arm bar that you're integrating and you're turning, and if I'm pushing, then the movement is tied together as a force. You can't really develop that without understanding that your hands and legs are working together. So the idea of tying your hands together when you move is really what happens. One is fixed, one is active, one is passive, one is... So your relationship of yin and yang and the idea. So this staff form is also called, the concept inside is called yin-yang staff. So yin-yang concepts are always in the movements as well. So you have that in the monkey stick. 1, 2, 3. You're making a circle, you're moving your leg, you're coming down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You come here, 1, right? 2, you have 3, you have 4. So when you move your hand or you come to a position, that's what you're doing. You're moving here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So your body alignment should be true. If you go like this and you go fuha or fuha, your hand is moving like that. So if my hand is here or my hand is here, those are positions, right? You can see the position, but when you put the stick into it, it's all over the place. So that's why you have to really be careful when you practice what that connection is, not just run through it, because the muscle memory and the skeletal structure positioning is consistent throughout everything that we do. And it's really coming down to your center line. If you're doing the stick, the right hand dominant is the power side. When you're doing spear, the left hand is forward, but the right hand is still your driving force. So when you're here and you stab, it's really your right hand. When I go like this and I push, it's my right arm. So the spear is left forward, the stick is right forward. So that's a common thing. They call it Du Tiang Yu Gun. Right? That's the Chinese saying. Du is left, Tiang is the spear. Yu is your right, Gun is your stick. Huh? Yeah. Du Tiang Yu Gun. So because old cultures, the right side is the power side. So when my hand is like this and I go like this and I stab with the spear, it's like this. When you're on the stick form, you're going like this. This is one of the instances your left hand is the driving one. So there's different concepts that they over the years have passed down as ideas. But if you never heard these simple facts, then you would probably never know them. They're probably written somewhere in some of the old texts in the manuals, but there's not a whole lot of manuals out there that talk on a traditional level like this. Although there is one coming out, right? I don't know. Aren't you part of it? Oh, your chapter's done. I don't know. I don't know what's in it.
Your voice comes out very strongly.
It does?
Yeah, I can hear it. I'm reading it. I go, yeah, I can hear that.
You mean I haven't said anything new?
No, the style.
Oh.
I can get it. I can read.
Oh.
Like the elbow and the shoulder. And
Oh yeah. Oh.
position,
Well, that.
sense of force. They're all, it's all reading.
Yeah. So that's good. I mean, it's there was another article that's in the on the website. It's called "The Softness of Hunga." Have you read that article? Yeah, you should take a look at that.
Are you the author?
Yeah. The softness of, and the website we have 3 articles. The softness of Hunga, and one is on Tai Chi. There's one on Tai Chi too. And then there's one from the 2000 millennium year when they asked the teachers what's going to be the what's one of the most important things for the future of Tai Chi at the millennium. And one of the things that I mentioned was that good teachers. We need more good teachers going forward. Otherwise, the art won't be. Anyways, that's it. No, it was an article in Inside Kungfu. Yeah. So anyways, so that's what just to give you the idea of what happens when you practice. Everything that you practice really is an extension of your body. So when you do your weaponry, it's really an extension. When we go like this or we go like this, that's a pull down. That's a pull down, right? When you're doing your butterfly sword and you chop here and you chop here, that's essentially a pull down. It's the same pull down that you have here. The same as push here and a pull here. So what do you look for, right? When you go like that, go into position. You look for the parallelism of the position, that the hands are not out here, the elbows are not spread out. So this is a position, and your body starts to recognize the equilibrium of the movement, but also the geometry of position. That's square. Right? This is yin and yang hand, one up, one down. Right? Monkey fist is a little different. You could say, well, they're double. They got their hands going like this, but it's not double weighted in the sense that one is moving, one is driving. So the circular movement is here, right? So the relationship in the hand and the leg is still following that same up and down cross-referencing. So get our body to recognize this. Then we'll do our forms like the tiger stepping or the tiger stepping. Then you see that the relationship is a consistency of the motion. It's not just in the tiger claw form or the 10 tigers, it's in everything. So we can begin to understand that. Then when we do our movements, eventually all of it's going to cross-reference up here, and then it becomes natural, and then you own it, you have it. When we turn to a stance, the important thing is this hip turning, so you have to turn. That means this joint and the muscles involved with this joint have to accommodate the twist. It not only has to twist, but it also has to allow you to settle into the stance for stability. And that kind of strength is different from physical strength. It's actually more of an intrinsic strength that's sort of comes out of the internalization of the movement. So, what's that? The hips and your shoulder, yeah. Yeah, the shoulders and the hips are similar joints, so that's a relationship. The elbows and the knees are similar joints, that's a relationship. So that's, and all the things that we're doing, when we're doing the stick, and we're doing this, and we're sinking, the shoulder, the elbow, and the wrist are much, very, very much involved in defining the direction. And when I turn like this, and I turn like this, there's the articulation of the hand. When I go like this, and I go like this, the hand, the direction of the movement actually defines where the hand is going. So my hand is like this, right? This is the tiger's mouth. My hand is like this, or like this. Then it depends on what you're using as a surface contact, right? So you're holding the stick, it's always in here, and it's always here. In fact, when you turn the hand like this, that's where your index, and we don't stick it out because that becomes a target. You hold like this, and your top knuckle should be where it's aligned. But at the same time, there's your phoenix eye, you see. So there's a lot of these things being developed as structural, learning in the kungfu stuff. So it's kind of interesting if you look at it, and so that's body mechanics. Being a mechanical engineer, right? Or chemical. Yeah. But anyways, that's what I like to bring out all of that stuff, because if you have your skeletal structure working correctly, there's your mechanics, there's your structure, then the body mechanics is your transitional stuff. That's tied to leverage and fulcrums and pivot points. And what are the pivot points? Our joints. What are the other pivot points? Our turning. And so everything's involved as far as our joint maneuverability. All right, we're going to bow. Up. Bow. Okay, Tom. What, you on vacation? Kid?
Actually, last Thursday, my wife got a shot.
She got what? Oh, yeah, she didn't feel good? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What was it? The Pfizer?
Yeah.
But, yeah. You get your shots?
No, she works for like a healthcare company.
Yeah.